Roll call, please.
Guys, here we go.
Councilman Rich,
Here. Here.
Councilwoman Hutchinson. Here. Councilman Mata.
Here.
Councilman Davis.
Here.
Councilman Socio.
Here.
Council President Guadagnino. Here. Mayor Womack.
Here. Sunshine notice, please.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required under Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, specifying the time, date, and location by posting a copy of the notice on the municipal building, municipal website, providing a copy of the annual notice schedule to the official newspapers of the township, and is on file in the clerk's office.
Councilman Davis, will you lead us in the pledge to the flag?
Yes, sir.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jeez. Yeah.
So tonight, we're going to swear in a new officer, Eddie Acer Torres. Eddie was a resident of New Brunswick, New Jersey. He graduated from New Brunswick High School. He received a bachelor's degree from Rutgers University. And recently, Eddie put himself through the alternate route, and he's a graduate of the Camden Police Academy in December, and through the alternate hiring program that the town approved, we hired Eddie to be one of ours. So tonight, we welcome him aboard, and here with him and his family, and when he gives his little speech later, he can explain, he can tell you who they are. Thank you, Chief. Come on up here.
It's good to see you. How are you? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ready? Left hand on the Bible. I know it by heart. I, Eddie Joshua Acer Torres,
I, Eddie Joshua Acer Torres,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will swear true faith and allegiance to the same,
can you repeat that?
that I will swear
That I will swear
true faith and allegiance
true faith and allegiance
to the same
and
to the governments
to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of the office of police officer
of the office of police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Welcome aboard. Congratulations.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank God, the chief, the mayor, and the police administration for bringing me into this town. I know there is a lot of work to be done, and I'm just ready to work. I'm going to be here every day. You will have my support. You will have my service. And if you see me over there, say hi to me. I will make sure if I can help you in anything, I'll be there for you. Thank you.
Eddie continues a long line in North Brunswick of hiring police officers with Hollywood good looks so that we're able to be ready when that producer shows up. Congratulations. Thank you all for coming. Did any other officers want to say anything this evening? Ms. Benson, since you've got important events coming up, why don't you come up and, if you were going to be talking about them tonight, why don't we talk about them right here at the head of the top of the program?
Take two. Good evening, Mayor Walmack, council members and residents joining us this evening. I have the opportunity to share our exciting Memorial Day weekend activities where we will honor those that have made the ultimate sacrifice. We will begin our program on Friday, May 23rd with our opening ceremonies, and we invite all of our residents to join us on Roosevelt Avenue at approximately 9 a.m. in the morning. We're asking residents to line both sides of Roosevelt Avenue. The wall will come down approximately 9:25 down Roosevelt, and it will enter Veterans Park. When we have our wall entering Veterans Park at 10 a.m., there will be a proclamation that will be read by Mayor Womack and joining council members. We will also have the honor of having the North Brunswick Township High School Band. We have Judd School Elementary students that will be joining us on Friday, and it will be just a wonderful welcoming to the weekend. On Saturday, we start our ceremonies at 2 o'clock, and Rolling Thunder will host their ceremony at 2, and their ceremony will last till approximately 2:30. Elmwood Cemetery will follow them approximately 2:30 to 2:45, and then at 2:45, the VFW from East Brunswick Post 133 will have their ceremony, and their ceremony will talk about the history of the wall. So that should be a really important, meaningful day. And then on Sunday at 2, the American Legions throughout Middlesex County will host their ceremony. And then we follow on Monday with our North Brunswick Township ceremony. That will begin at 11 a.m., tentatively run to noon, and then we will host a gathering, a cookout, at Veterans Park for all participants and residents that will be joining us on that day. Should be a wonderful events all throughout the weekend. Fingers and toes crossed that the weather cooperates with us. Mayor Womack and Council, I really want to extend a thank you to each of you for your support as we prepare for this event, and special thanks to Councilman Bob Davis, who has been working closely with the project with me. Are there any questions from any of our council members? I do want to thank Council President Amanda Guadagnino, who met with me this morning at the memorial, and we did a taping with some information out to the public as well. If there are any additional questions, residents can phone me at 732-247-0922, extension 475, and we hope to see everyone so we can pay tribute to those that made the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you, Mayor.
And was that the only thing you were going to have on the workshop agenda part as well?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay, so if you need to leave, you don't need to stick around.
Okay,
Ms. Benson.
thank you.
Thank you. Is there
Oh, I was just going to say that video, as soon as Mr. Yetzko is done editing, will be on social media and Channel 15. That has all the information about the weekend.
Thank you, Council.
Mayor, if I could just add one additional item. The public may be thinking that there is a flyover and a Black Hawk landing. Unfortunately, because of the situation at Newark Airport, both of those events were pulled back. So I just wanted to share that information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any member of the council that would like to have any item removed from this evening's consent agenda? Is there a motion to approve consent agenda items A through X?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Rich?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hutchinson?
Yes.
Councilman Mata?
Yes.
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Councilman Socio?
Yes.
Council President Guadagnino?
Resolution for consideration 188-5.25.
That was the LEAP grant one that we put separately from the consent agenda.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept, to approve item 6. Should be Z, right? Oops. Or 6X? Y, yeah, Y.
This one.
This was the other one, which has to do with affordable
Oh,
housing.
I understand the resolution, I just don't understand why it
Oh,
doesn't say we're voting on it.
oh, gotcha.
Does any member of the council have any questions on that resolution?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what Councilman Socio.
Councilman Socio, what were you saying?
Well, I made a motion to approve, being that's what I thought was on the agenda for. Being that I thought that's why it's on the agenda. If I'm wrong,
No, that's fine. So have you made a motion to approve?
Yes, I did.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Rich?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hutchinson?
Yes.
Councilman Mata?
Yes.
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Councilman Socio?
yes.
Council President Guadagnino?
Is there a motion to approve the minutes of our council meeting of March 3rd, 2025?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? To approve the minutes of the meeting of April 7, 2025. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? And is there a motion to approve the minutes of our council meeting of April 21, 2020?
So moved.
Second.
Do you need to abstain on that one?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. Abstain.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Rich?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hutchinson?
Yes.
Councilman Mata?
Yes.
Councilman Davis?
Abstain.
Councilman Socio?
Yes.
Council President Guadagnino?
Yes.
Ordinance for second reading and public hearing, number 25-04.
Amending and fixing the salary and wages for various officials and employees of the Township of North Brunswick and providing for the manner of payment thereof.
Is there anyone who'd like to be heard in public hearing on ordinance 25-04? Is there a motion to close that public hearing?
So move.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? And is there a motion to adopt ordinance 25-04?
So move. Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Rich?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hutchinson?
Yes.
Councilman Mata?
Yes.
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Councilman Socio?
Yes.
Council President Guadagnino?
Yes.
Council President, any reports, information, things this evening? Announcements?
Not today, thank you.
Councilman Socio.
Yes, we have one, only one today from Luann. Did I say one? Yeah. This coming Monday is Memorial Day, and we will be hosting our 46th annual Memorial Day 5K run and walk. It will be held at Community Park. Check-in begins at 7:30. The race begins at 8 a.m. The registration fee, if you're still interested in having registered, is $35. We will have a children's dash, which will promote healthy kids, ages 1 through 5, and all participants for that will get a ribbon, and that registration fee is $5. Don't forget to dress in your most patriotic outfit to be entered into our contest with the top 3 most patriotic runners, walkers winning a prize. Packet pickup is this Wednesday, May 21st, 9 to 7:30 at the Parks Maintenance Facility in the back of Community Park, closest to Adams Lane. And of course, if you don't pick up your packet on Wednesday, you can get it on Sunday morning during check-in. And we will be handing out awards for the top place winners in each age and gender category. And we will have our usual 50-50 or raffles, door prizes kind of things. So it's really a great event. The weather should be good, so please come out in order to kick off your Memorial Day festivities and then follow us along for the rest of the day. Have a great Memorial Day. Look forward to seeing you all there.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Davis?
Yes, thank you, Mac. The Adams AC will be having their annual Memorial Day presentation over at Sabella Park, and that'll go on about 9:30. It'll be a short ceremony, but it's something that we do at the AC every year.
It's a good thing to go to if someone's able to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Councilman Maida? Thank you. Councilwoman? Nothing? Councilman Rich?
Nope.
Thank you, everyone. Ms. Pergman, anything before we go to public hearing?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Is there anyone who'd like to be heard in public hearing this evening? General public hearing? Is there a motion to close the public?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And if no member of the council has any objection, let's continue our meeting in the workshop room. Everybody's invited to come in there. It's the same meeting, we just get around the table so we can talk about what's going to happen at the next meeting.
Good evening again, everyone. I have, 3 items on the agenda tonight. The first one is a budget transfer, and this is transferring a total of $53,000 between budget accounts. Any questions on that? The next item is a resolution that we do every year, and this is the deferment of or a portion of the taxes, our school taxes. So we bill property taxes on a calendar year, and because we are a fiscal year town, a portion of the 2025 taxes is collected in the 24 fiscal year, and then the balance is collected in the fiscal year 26. Did I say 24? Fiscal year 25. And so we're deferring a portion of that into the next fiscal year. Any questions on that? And the last item is our debt issuance, and this is we're renewing our outstanding bonds that we issued in July of 2024, and that was a little over $40 million, and we're increasing that for the next fiscal year by $16,490,000.
There's no numbers here.
Sorry. I had to work that out with our bond counsel late today, so I have copies of the resolution.
We all going.
Yeah, we were questioning why the numbers didn't come out till late, but she couldn't fill them in till bond council. And we have a deadline to pass this?
That's going to be for June 9th to
Okay.
adopt on that.
So in the meantime, if any council member has any, since we did not have those numbers on there, if any council member has any questions for Cavell or for Justine, or if you want to talk to bond council, let us know. We'll give you whatever answers you need before the meeting we act on it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gallimore. Mr. Bloyd?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have 4 items this evening. First item is a resolution authorizing an award of contract bid 25010 to Franklin Miller Incorporated for the purchase of a sewage grinder.
Was that competitive bid, or is that just, it's a lot
Yeah, that's for our West Lawrence pump station.
for a piece of machinery.
Any questions on that one?
Especially after it starts working.
Yeah, we really need it at that station. That station's had some matting issues, so we've been looking at this for the last 15 years, quite honestly. So thank you for that. Number 2,
He told me
we good? Number 2, authorizing an amendment to contract bid 23004 with J. Fletcher Kramer and Son Incorporated for sewer and stormwater collection system maintenance and repair services. Any questions on it?
Continue our
Continue.
standard practice.
Yes, for our emergency breaks or any kind of services that we need that are emergent.
Okay.
Any other questions on that one? Number 3, resolution authorizing an agreement with ATT Sports Incorporated for the resurfacing of 4 basketball courts under ESC&J contract.
This is the grant money that we got, right?
Correct. Yes, we're going to do 4 courts under this grant.
And how many pickleball?
One's going to be converted to a pickleball, and that is Colonial Gardens. And it's also going to double as a basketball court, but we're increasing the size.
How many pickleball courts are in town?
We have Brunswick Knolls, Herman Park, and now we'll have this one. But Brunswick, Herman Park, we're going to add, we're going to paint lines for a second court at Herman Park.
There's 2 total right now, so this will bring a third to both on Herman Park will be pickleball playable, and then the one at Brunswick,
Colonial Garden.
Colonial Gardens, yeah, Colonial Gardens.
And then there's
The other one
also one at
before.
Brunswick Knolls.
Will they have nets permanently up, or how's that going to work if they're going to double as basketball courts?
We're not sure yet if we're going to get the rollout nets, because sometimes you can lower the nets, but sometimes they don't go back up, and, we're trying to look into that option.
But the net, for now, the net will be up. It'll be
Herman Park.
ball.
Herman Park has them. They just have to be lowered for pickleball. Same thing with Brunswick Knolls. So the Colonial Gardens will probably have a portable one.
We're supposed to lower the net when we play? We're supposed to lower the net when we play?
Yeah,
I'm getting cheated out of
that's why you keep losing.
I'm getting cheated out of points. That's
Keep
not
hitting the
right.
net.
Now I know.
Any other questions on 3?
That's why I lost the list.
And my last one is a resolution authorizing award of contract to C3 Technologies LLC for the construction of a new Public Works fuel pump station. Any questions on that? Thank you.
Steve, is that in the same place the old one was, or is this in a new area?
It's going to be behind where the old one is.
Oh.
That's going to remain in operation, under construction. Once the new one is up and running, then we're going to have to come back to the council for authorization for demolition.
Thank you, Mr. Boyd.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Ritz?
Good evening, everybody. First item this evening is an ordinance to vacate an easement. This is actually in the city of New Brunswick, in an area down Joyce Kilmer Avenue, where we've already received a new easement in its place based on a development project there. This is a sewer easement from the 1980s that needs to be vacated. But a new ordinance has already been replaced it and has been filed. I'm going to just jump to item number 6. This is a templated ordinance for a resident who's seeking a dedicated handicapped space in front of their residence on Hollywood Street. The governing body actually approves these because you're effectuating a parking condition on a public road. If you were to look in our code, they're actually itemized by residents where these are approved otherwise in town.
And then once either the house is sold, there's something.
Or the person is deceased, then we do an amendment to remove them from the ordinance.
And we are up to date with all those removals?
As far as I know, there's about 6 of them, 7 of them. We removed somebody a few years ago.
I have a question. Is this something that's striped on the road, or how does that?
Yeah, there's actually a sign installed. It becomes a designated handicap parking space, just like you would see at a shopping center or a business. But it
But
guarantees.
anyone with a handicap tag could potentially park there, or only the person that asked for it?
The ordinance is written so that the space is for the exclusive use of the resident.
But their names?
Yeah,
I mean, not that anyone's going to park there, but.
I understand what you're saying, yeah.
But if someone parks there, so he can essentially call the police and say, hey,
Yes.
someone's in
Yes.
my
That's
space,
what it's there for.
and then they can
That's what
get
it's-
fined or whatever.
Yeah.
And Monica and Lisa are aware, but every so often, every year or two, the clerk's office or somebody designated by the town is supposed to go through and look at who has moved out or died, who had handicapped spots, and then we can vacate those spots and rotate in the new ones we need.
Thank you.
Item 7 this evening is a closeout for the Huron Road Improvement Project, which was part of our 2023 program. And that's a closeout in our favor in the amount of $34,000 plus. So this evening, items 3, 4, and 5 are part of the discussion. Just reminding the governing body that our planning board has publicly noticed a special hearing for this Wednesday May 21st here at the building to discuss the adoption of our housing element and fair share plan. So this is a required document that is adopted every 10 years in association with meeting our affordable housing obligation. The planning board at their prior 2 meetings have met in workshop to discuss the 3 ordinances that are outlined before you. And those are the 3 ordinances that are designed to implement the housing plan to allow us to meet our 4th round obligation, which we've been discussing since the first of the year. So after Wednesday night's meeting, the planning board will actually adopt a resolution adopting the housing plan, and they'll forward that to the governing body.
They should adopt.
Yes, they should adopt, pending the public hearing. And then we're putting on the agenda for the next meeting a resolution that will accept the endorsement of the planning board, and then we file that and notify our affordable housing partners that we've satisfied that requirement. We have a June 30th deadline to, per the statute, to adopt that housing plan. And then potentially the governing body will introduce on June 23rd these 3 ordinances, which are amendments to our zoning, our land use chapter, and then they would potentially be adopted at the July 28th meeting. That's essentially the summary of these items. And then,
A lot of red lines in the first one.
right, so the first 2, for item 3, that's essentially the zoning overlay for the Main Street development, which is a 9,100-page ordinance. But we only need to amend the sections that are highlighted, which breaks that 100-page ordinance down to about, I think it's 9 pages, 10 pages. But we're showing you the deletions and the edits to the total number of units and some of the changes that the mayor's previously discussed with you about their ability to build and removing some of the gatekeeping from the adoption back in 2010, which was based on train station hallmarks that have since been delayed. So this is written for everyone in a means that it can try to make some sense and you can understand where and how we're making changes to the ordinance. Items 4 and 5 are new ordinances that effectively create 2 new zones in the township. And again, these are to satisfy our 4th round affordable housing obligations. So these create 2 new zones for properties on Route 130 and Route 1 that would potentially allow us to satisfy the ordinance. And then, of course, if anyone were to come forward in the future to develop those properties, they would have to come to the planning board for a full set of site use and land use approvals like any other project in the township, and the governing body would be notified of those the way you are today when you receive a zoning report from the zoning officer.
Michael, I'm sorry.
You first.
Good. Question for you. Mid-rise, what actually is mid-rise seniors? I mean, is it 3 stories? Is it-
Amaranth.
3 or 4,
It's
right, 3 or 4 stories.
Oh, okay.
No higher than 4.
Yeah, no higher than 4.
Than
if
4
you read
stories?
it. Yes,
These
Okay.
are just saying that these are possible,
correct. It's,
not that
but-
they're definitely happening.
Wait, yeah, and that's what I was gonna ask. You are creating the zone. Are we placing it on a plot of land, like putting it on our zoning map? Or is we just creating the zone and it'll be placed later?
no, you're placing it on the zoning map. So on Route 130, it's to change the zoning for 2 particular properties that are adjacent to the entrance of Community Park. And it is changing the zones for those 2 lots
From industrial.
from industrial to mid-rise senior residential district.
Does it affect what's there now?
So the one property right now is undeveloped, and the second property today is located where American Tire is located.
Okay. All right.
So that changes the zone for those two properties, which today are both zoned industrial.
Okay. What about Route 1?
And then Route 1 is the property known as 300 Fidelity Plaza, which is the property in front of the Boy Scouts, in front of Wells Fargo. It's the lot with the smaller building that fronts Route 1, where now TV Asia is leasing the building.
Sort of, as you go up Route 1 between Society
Yeah,
Hill.
north of Society Hill and south of the shops. And that is rezoning that property, which today is office research, and creating a new mid-rise family residential district, which would allow for the development of some housing on that site.
But all right, and then this zone doesn't create density or things like that. Oh, maximum density 14 units per acre. Gotcha, okay.
So that density, Councilman, is in line with the most density housing we have anywhere in town today. And we've kept all of our zoning in line with that somewhat artificial number. So Renaissance, for example, is at that same density, although this is only for one lot.
Does this mirror what's at Amaranth right now as far as density, or is it less dense? What?
I don't know what the density of Amaranth calculated to. I would have to double check. This is not limited to senior, though. This is family residential. So one of the things that we have to do with our zoning is we have to balance what we've been doing, which is we fairly have earned and taken advantage of affordable housing that's dedicated for age-restricted and family house, other special need and developmentally disabled housing. But you're only permitted a certain portion of that type of housing to satisfy the requirement. So we still need to have housing for
Everybody else.
So, for example, in our last plan, that was satisfied by Crescent Apartments, which is a family housing for all age groups. So this is another opportunity to satisfy our obligation with family residential units.
So 2508 is Route 1, right? The
Correct.
mid-rise family.
Correct.
One was senior.
So if the council members look at it, and then, of course, it's before the planning board on Wednesday, and they approve them, and then it comes back to the council, and for example, Councilman Socio says, I know the planning board did this the other night, but I wanted to tweak it a little bit.
Right.
Something. Can we still tweak it after the planning board's action on Wednesday?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, for those ordinances, but the planning board is actually adopting the housing element.
Right.
So the housing element could not be amended
Right.
without going back to the planning board.
And I think you just said this, but
Right.
the reason we can't just say, hey, we'd rather not put more kids in the schools, we'd rather have more senior housing, is because when we're talking about affordable housing, the court and the Fair Share Housing Corporation, they look at us and they say, yeah, you got enough affordable housing for seniors.
Right.
We're not going to approve it unless you give some for families, so.
So and just to clarify that point, Mayor, so we have to do two things. We have to have a spread of the legally defined variety of housing, meaning moderate, low, there's different categories. And then we also have to have a spread of the mix. So we have developmental housing, we have age-restricted housing, but we also have, to Council President Guadino's point, housing for everybody that is affordable, and this is meant to try to achieve that balance.
What does potential passage of 2508 Route 1 do to influence any potential redevelopment of the adjacent land there? I mean, because there are, I know we're considering that for redevelopment. We have people that are interested, and then we go change the zone right there next to that one. What do we do, and what's the potential downstream effect of that?
It's a fair question. We're on a path at this point to be coming back. We're going to be on the agenda to come back to the governing body with the redevelopment plan for the primary site. So I think we would affirm, but the current owners of this site are certainly aware of the redevelopment plans for the site.
And vice versa.
And vice versa. I'll point out, it's a matter of public record, the owner of this site, which is 300 Fidelity Plaza, is also the owner of 55 Fidelity, which is the daycare child building. And they were subdivided from the primary site with the developer. So the owner of this site was involved in that subdivision and owns the remaining 2 parcels. And so they're fully aware of the redevelopment potential of the primary site.
But there's a lot of Councilman's questions. I like to state the obvious. I mean, Carlos' question is good. I mean, as you drive up Route 1, we want our town to remain, Route 1's still center of our town. We want it to still remain good looking. We have to make sure that what we, put like the council, it's got to stay good looking. And whatever we put there, we want to make the right thing. And so the way the properties go together is something that we will certainly want to take into account.
So again, the planning board will be meeting this Wednesday here in a special hearing. It was advertised in the newspaper. It is on our website. And their primary task is to adopt that housing element, which you'll have a resolution, assuming they adopt it, you'll have a resolution acknowledging, endorsing their adoption at the next meeting so that we can file with the state by the statutory deadline of June 30th. Okay? Thank you.
Ms. Pergament?
Thank you, Mayor. The first 2 items that I have on for consideration go together. These are authorizing purchases from vendors under approved. The first one is taking advantage of state contract, and the second one is under cooperative purchasing agreements that we're members of. This is modified twice a year, usually around this time and around the end of the calendar year. And so this is updating those list of approved vendors. And the item 3 is authorizing an adjustment to a utility account for a burst to give them a credit for the sewer portion of the bill. And that's all I have.
I just, one quick question on that. On the state contract, which
Yes.
Bobby used to talk about all the time.
Yes.
So we had to have a resolution to authorize new vendors that we could do on the state contract? Is that?
That are over
and the
the-
ones that
yeah.
are on state contract just continue to move ahead? Is that basically it? Is that the reason to have a new resolution, I guess?
So the state, their procurement cycle and their award of their contracts sometimes don't have the same, they have different end dates, or sometimes they extend out those contracts.
Oh.
And so we just have to align and get the authorization to utilize that vendor throughout the end of that term date. And so that's really what you see is the column that's been adjusted is the term date, the expiration date, and it's whether or not it might be a new vendor, it might be an extension on that contract through the state. And it's just giving us that as an option. These are vendors that we may use and having that authority.
Thank you.
Thanks. And that's it.
Thank you so much, Ms. Pergament. Madam Clerk?
The only 2 things I have will be the minutes for approval from the May 5th meeting, and then a resolution approving membership to North Brunswick Fire Company. It's been approved by HR, so that'll be on for the next meeting.
And I would note that in light of this change in the way we've been trying to do the meetings, the directors are meeting on Thursdays. They met last Thursday, so if any council member wants to listen in or participate, and we don't have a sunshine problem, always feel free to do that. We did have a couple of items that were suggested that people might have wanted to put on, but we're trying to hold the line. Only if we really got to put something on. We don't want to worry about. We want to have a relaxing summer for all the council and not have to worry about things at the last minute. So we'll hold off on those things. Anything else from any other member of the council? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor? Everybody have a great night.